If you're anything like us, you start Googling like crazy before you go on a vacation. We've been researching the Grand Canyon for 2 months now. We're still researching. We have really been knee deep in the Grand Canyon, and we just love it. It's been a lot of fun for us. So in this video, we are gonna go over frequently asked questions about Grand Canyon to help you plan for your trip.
And if you're new to our channel, we're Matt and Cheryl from We're in the Rockies, and the whole purpose of our channel is to help people enjoy the West. So please check out our channel and some of our other videos. To get started, our first question is, what is the Grand Canyon? Well, it is a giant canyon carved by the Colorado River. It's in northern Arizona, and it's bookended by two dams. We've got the Glen Canyon Dam, that's Lake Powell, and then the Hoover Dam by Lake Mead.
Okay, the second question, how big is the Grand Canyon? This is actually kind of a tricky question. The canyon itself is bigger than Rhode Island, but just for a little perspective to help you out with how big it is, if you ride a mule down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, it'll take you 2 days, 1 day down and 1 day up. If you're gonna river raft through the Grand Canyon, that could take 2 to 3 weeks. If we're talking about just the national park, it takes up the middle portions of the canyon, those with the best views and the deepest drops. Other sections are owned by Indian tribes, and part of them are classified as national monuments. Okay, the next question is, how many people die each year at the Grand Canyon? The answer is between 5 and 15 per year on average. Now, usually when people are asking that question, they're actually wondering how many people fall off the ledge into the canyon. There's a morbid curiosity there just is. But there have been over 60 falls from the ledge. Well, most of the people that die are adults either taking selfies or horsing around, believe it or not. Okay, now there are plenty of other ways to die in the Grand Canyon, including dehydration, being overheated, drowning in the Colorado River. There's been plenty of murders and suicides there. People who have starved, they got lost on the trails and just starved to death. Cars going off of the edge, like in Thelma and Louise. Lightning, rock falls, I mean, it's crazy. Besides the deaths, there are about 300 people per year that need to be rescued in some way or another because they're in trouble.
All right, next. Are there elevators? We wish. No. We certainly wish. Or maybe like a nice zip line on the way down.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. But no, you gotta use your feet or a mule. Okay, what is the most popular section of the park to go to? Ooh, this one's a toughie. Okay, so let's just do a quick little breakdown. There's the north and south rims that are run by the National Park Service. The south rim is like the movie star. That's where everyone goes, and it's open year round. The North Rim is kind of like the cool little brother that no one knows about. It's open May 15th through October 15th. And then you've got the East and the West. Those are both run by Native American tribes. The West has the famous skywalk, where you've heard about this, where you can walk over the edge of the canyon on a glass skywalk. Mm-hmm. And the East side is by Lake Powell. There's Horseshoe Bend there. There's some really cool things to do near that Page, Arizona area.
Okay, next question is how to get to the Grand Canyon. Most people fly into Las Vegas and then they drive 4.5 hours to either the South Rim or the North Rim. So it's the same distance from Las Vegas to either rim. If you're going to the West Rim, which is where that skywalk is, that's I think about 2 hours from Las Vegas. So a lot of people make a day trip out of it from Las Vegas. The other common place that people fly into is Phoenix, Arizona. The drive from Phoenix to the South Rim is 3.5 hours.
So what's at the bottom of the Grand Canyon? Okay, there is actually quite a bit down there. There is Phantom Ranch. I cannot believe that they lugged all the stuff in there to build a ranch with a restaurant. And my little brother tells me some pretty potent lemonade that they serve down there, along with some other nice meals for the people that stay overnight. The Colorado River is down there, and then the Wallapai tribe lives down there.
Okay, the next question is, how do you get to the bottom of the canyon? The answer is you either walk or ride a mule down there. The canyon's about 1 mile deep. To actually hike down there is about a 7-mile hike or something like that.
Strenuous hike.
Very strenuous.
Very strenuous.
Some people will go from rim to rim.
They don't advise it. I mean,
it's an intense, something you'd really have to prepare for if you were going to do something like that. You can also drive down to certain sections of the Colorado River. Is Lee's Ferry that I mentioned earlier. That is a pretty cool little area. You can actually drive down to the Colorado River and swim in there or raft or whatever.
Some people will ask, can you hike not all the way down to the bottom? And yes, you can. There are actually 3 pretty good trails that you can hike down as far as you would like. There's the Bright Angel Trail, there is the South Kaibab Trail, and then the North Kaibab Trail. But one thing to be aware with hiking down to the, just as far as you want to go, is you've got to remember this is an inverted mountain. You are on the rim and you're hiking into the canyon. Normally the hikers are friendly, happy people, but when you watch people hike out of the Grand Canyon, they're not smiling.
They're exhausted.
They're exhausted, they're hot, there's no shade. They have to rescue so many people every year because they just think they can do more than they can. This is a chance to be humble and say, you know what, I'm going to stop at a mile or a mile and a half. On the hikes on the South Rim, the Bright Angel and the North Kaibab, they both have good stopping points at 1.5 miles.
Okay, if you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button there. That really helps us out, and we really do appreciate it. Also, subscribe, click the little notification bell if you want to get more of our videos. Next question is, can you do a mule ride without going all the way to the bottom? The answer to that is yes. On both rims, on both the South and the North Rim, you can ride mules along the rim, along the edge of the canyon. On the South Rim, they do not take you into the canyon unless you're going to go all the way down. But on the North Rim, there is an option to go partially down into the canyon.
Yeah.
And then come back up. So it's like a 3-mile trip or something like that down into the canyon.
Next one is, can you ride a train to the Grand Canyon? The answer is yes. There is a very cool train called the Grand Canyon Railway. It starts at Williams, Arizona, a cool Route 66 town about an hour away, and it transports guests to and from the Grand Canyon every day.
Yeah, it leaves at like 9 in the morning. You get there, you have a little bit of time during the day to visit it, and then it goes back at 5 at night. Next question is, when is the best time of the year to visit the Grand Canyon? On the South Rim, I would say the best times to visit are the spring and the fall. The average daytime temperatures in the summer are in the 80s, but it can get a little hotter. When we were there, it was up in the 90s. It was pretty hot.
It was a heat wave.
But even though the temperatures normally in the 80s, I would say spring and fall. I think the temperatures are even nicer during that time. Summer is really the main season on the North Rim. It actually closes during the winter. The summertime temperatures are typically amazing on the North Rim. So I would say middle of the summer on the North Rim. Plus the North Rim is not near as crowded, so you don't have to worry about crowds during the summer.
Okay, next one. Where is Old Faithful? I hope you don't get to the Grand Canyon and ask that question. Old Faithful is at Yellowstone, which we have tons of videos about. Yellowstone's one of our favorites. Check out our Yellowstone playlist if you are interested in going to Yellowstone. Although Yellowstone does have the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone.
Yeah, there's a Grand Canyon in Yellowstone. That's true.
Okay. Maybe that's where the confusion comes from.
Could be. All right, what's the next one?
What is there to do? They have some great trails throughout the Grand Canyon Village. They have a bike rental place right at the visitor center, and you can ride bikes around, which is pretty cool. We've got the mule rides, which we've touched on. You could ride the train, hike into the canyon,
Walk along the rim.
walk along the rim, hang out in the village. The village at the South Rim is so charming. A lot of these buildings there are over 100 years old, and they're just these cute little cabins, got a little Norwegian style going on them.
And
of
watch
course,
the sunset.
yeah, at the overlooks.
That is one of the biggest things to do there is watch the sunset. Okay, so the next question would be a good follow-up on that is, what are the best places for sunset? The answer to that is whatever points stick out into the canyon are good ones. So Hopi Point, Yavapai Point, and Yaqui Point are 3 of the big ones.
Can I bring my dog? At the Grand Canyon, they're a little more chilled about the pets. No pets are allowed down into the canyon unless they're service animals, and you have to go by the National Park's definition of a service animal. But along the rim, we saw plenty of dogs on leashes as people were watching the sunset. All right, where to stay at the Grand Canyon? To start off, I made an entire video about lodging at the Grand Canyon. Check it out here. It'll be there when it is released. So I'm going to be really brief right here. At the South Rim, you've got the village. And then 12 miles south is the city of Tucson. Lots of lodging there. Williams, Arizona, it's an hour away. And then there's Flagstaff, Arizona, which is about an hour and a half away. The North Rim does not have a lot of lodging options. You've got the Grand Canyon Lodge there, and then there's the Kaibab Lodge, which is about 18 minutes away, and then Jacob Lake, which is an hour away. So if you're going to the North Rim, you really need to get that reservation quick because you only have a few choices.
There's also campgrounds within the national park and just outside of the national park on both rims.
Does it cost anything? Yes, it does. Just for a typical admission into the national park at the Grand Canyon, it's $35 for an entire week. If you are going to be visiting more than one national park in a year, it really behooves you to get the season or annual pass, which is $80.
All right, next question is how do I get around, or how do you get around at the Grand Canyon? So on the South Rim, mainly the shuttles. There's a big parking lot there at the main visitor center, which is at Mather Point. You can park there and get just about anywhere you want to go by shuttle. The only place on the South Rim that you wouldn't take the shuttle is Desert View Drive. So really, it's slick. I mean,
Yeah,
it's easy to get around.
They're pretty efficient.
On the North Rim, no shuttle system, again, because the crowds are much less. You don't need it up there. So you just drive and park.
Where to eat? You are not going to starve at the Grand Canyon. There are plenty of places to eat. In fact, some that are incredibly good.
Whoa, baby.
Our favorites are El Tabar and Fred Harvey Burger on the South Rim. Chain restaurants in Tucson and an amazing chocolate factory there.
North Rim, basically Grand Canyon Lodge and Jacob Lake. Yeah, if you're saying where in Jacob Lake, there's only one place in Jacob Lake. It's just a little building there, the Jacob Lake Inn. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can eat it.
Get a shake and a cookie at Jacob Lake. Next is what to wear to the Grand Canyon. I'm guessing that if you're watching this, you're most likely heading there during peak travel season, which is May through September. You're gonna wanna wear summer clothes. It's warm. Even on the North Rim, it's fairly warm. If you're hiking, people wear the hiking pants, and sometimes they'll wear longer sleeve shirts if they're riding a mule into the canyon, but for the most part, I would say wear something you feel comfortable hiking in, and then the big gear thing you need is a wide brimmed hat and some sunglasses.
Next question, how many days to spend at the Grand Canyon? We would say 1 to 2 days on the South Rim. You know, you're gonna get a very good feel for the South Rim. On the North Rim, probably just 1 day. But I would make that a stay overnight, see that, spend a whole day at the North Rim, and then stay overnight and then go on to your next spot. The next question is there wildlife at the Grand Canyon? There's actually a lot of wildlife at the Grand Canyon. Up top, there's like a forested environment with elk. As you get further and further down, it's more of a desert environment with desert animals like reptiles and turtles and things like that. I mean, there's tons of wildlife there. The most common that you'll see at the South Rim is elk. They'll come right up to you. They come right into the village and drink the water out of the taps. On the North Rim, you'll see bison and deer.
All right, those are our frequently asked questions. If you're planning a trip to the Grand Canyon, we are creating an itinerary and audio guide for anyone traveling there, whether it's North or South Rim. It's going to have so much good information on it. It's on our website, we'reintherockies.com. We have some other guides already up there for other places like Yellowstone and Grand Teton. We are also working on a trip planner video that even goes into greater detail on planning your trip, about the lodging and the food and when to go. All those questions, because once again, the whole purpose of our channel is to make your trip to the West awesome by giving you good information. So thank you for watching.